Hello, everybody, and a good morning to you, or I guess if you're watching this in Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, or Wednesday night, I could say good night or good evening to you as well, but we'll stick with the good morning. I am your host for this short form video, one of my PGA model breakdowns, Jason Rouslin. Find me on Twitter at DFS Golfer23, or of course, if you're an Awesome Plus member, you can go ahead and hit me up in the Slack chat for pretty much anything you want. So this week, we are talking about the Honda Classic. And I am going to jump right into my model breakdown. We've got a few new things this week, and of course, a couple of things that I always like to go over. So, okay, let's start off. This is where I go through about, I'm going to say 60 seconds. If this is your first time watching this video, 60 seconds of running through things quickly. Okay, obviously, we're going to start with the golfer's name, their official world golf rank. Then I put my two models, the base model and then the make your own model rank there. The difference, of course, between the two. Then we'd go into odds and salary. The odds and salary are for opening odds. So as you can see here, Tommy Fleetwood's actually 19 when the odds first came out. He's actually become much shorter. Same with Brooks Koepka, and I'll show you that on my tab where I updated on the tab. Okay, as we go across, then I have the strokes gained for the last 2 years, the PGA Tour rank. Then I have the top correlated stats, non-strokes gained stats, of course. This week, bogey avoidance, putting inside of 10 feet. Scrambling, and total driving. As we move on, I put the 2019 approach proximity. We're just about 2 months in, so I normally after the Florida swing, I update all of the stats on here to reflect the 2020 stats. The only one that's not 2020 stats so far is that approach proximity. Then, of course, we go into recent form. 6 weeks, course history, 5 years. Sorry, I didn't put in 2016. Last week, it was the WGC Mexico. They only had 3 years, so sorry, just going to make sure people do not get confused. And then we go into DraftKings points and field rank. Field rank is something I added in last week, and I think it's a really, really good tool to go out and see. Sure, Luke List might have only scored 87 points. Actually, I'm looking at Charles Schwartzel. I apologize. Charles Schwartzel may have only scored 87 points in Pebble Beach, but he ended up coming in 8th in total scoring. You know, take that. Victor Hovland scored almost 80 points, came in 14th. So as you can see, it really matters to look at the field rank because that's what's going to give you the total indication of how the golfer scored comparatively to everybody else. You know, it could be a really low scoring event, or you could see somebody like Kevin Streelman who just had a ton of birdies and eagles and also a lot of bogeys where he finished way above everybody else. You see Maverick McNeely, you know, Daniel Berger coming in the low 90s or high 80s. Streelman beat them by 20 or so points. Okay, so that gives you the base model. That is the full model tab. Now we go into our weekly cheat sheet, which I love to use. You'll see me use it on our show on Wednesdays with Ben. Even though tonight, I believe it's going to be with Geoff, our new guy. Geoff is going to be joining us tonight as Ben flies down to Florida to come play some golf with me and hang out with all the guys at the DFS Open. So looking forward to that. All right, Tommy Fleetwood. As you can see, this is my weekly cheat sheet here. What I've got is I've got the recent form all the way back to 7 weeks ago. I give you the strokes gained information for the last 7 weeks if they've played. And of course, I've given you course history for the last 6 years and DraftKings points. DraftKings points I may need to update because this looks like the DraftKings points and then the rank model. So I'm going to have to just change that over to the next column. And as you can see, he's only played one time on the PGA Tour in the last 7 weeks. So that's why we only have one piece of data for him. And of course, I put their salary and their expected ownership. Of course, if you're more interested in the strokes gain information, let's stick on Tommy Fleetwood. We can go to strokes gain database and screener tab. Here, you'll be able to see all of the information from your players all the way back to last year's, looks like waste management, all the way through this year's. Actually, it looks like I just got to move these over. Looks like I haven't even done it. So it looks like we're going to get information from last year's Pebble. Not quite waste. We kick waste out, as you can see there on the far right-hand side. And we got to update the Genesis. And, of course, we just played the WGC Mexico. So that's going to give you all of their strokes gain information there. We'll move on to the algorithm points. This is where my base model. This is how I calculate all the points. You can see how many points each player is getting for each specific category. As you can see, the categories right across the top here, which are the exact categories that I'm running through now. In the make your own model, this is where you can take the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 point categories or point scoring categories and put an actual percentage in which you want it to look at, it doesn't really matter of the percentages that you put here, and it doesn't really matter of what the points you put up, because it's still going to give you an actual rating of the player. Now, if your rating comes up with 300 points, that's probably not going to be the projected points that they score. However, if you keep it somewhere below 100, you'll get somewhere close at least, and it should give you a good indication of what you're looking at and who the best player is in what you're looking at, or who the best place would be if you want to focus. Let's say you wanted to just see who's going to be the best at odds. You could do that with this. Delete all of the other ones in red, put it to 0, and put this one to whatever percentage you want, and it'll likely come up with the guys that you can see here. It looks like it might already have it sorted by that. All right, moving on. Official World Golf Rank. This is where I actually put their rank in this column if you're really curious to see. I go all the way up to 600 on this sheet. I only put it up to 300 on the full model. If you want to see the actual, like Jason Duffner ranked 303 in the world, head over onto this OWGR sheet. Then odds, like I said, I update the odds section here. You can see Brooks Koepka, Tommy Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler, all very, very close. And then, of course, I go strokes gained rank by field, where I'm going to take that information from the front page, and then I'm going to give you the field rank. Field rank is important to see because while Jason Kokrak may be 16th, or Gary Woodland, may be 16th in tee to green in 2019, he's actually only 7th in this field. So just a different way to look at the information, a different way to look at field strength or the players playing in the field and see how strong they are relative to the rest of everybody else competing. So interesting to look at there. Then we go into our other stat ranks where I bring in more than just the 4 I present on that full model front page. So we've got greens and regulation, proximity to the hole, driving distance and accuracy, good drive percentage. Then we've got some around the green metrics, some putting metrics, and some scoring metrics. So plenty to look at here, no doubt about it. Then as we move on, approach proximity. What I've done here is I've put in the 2020 numbers as well, so you can see if somebody is playing well from a specific category. For example, this year, the 150 to 175 category, no surprise to see Victor Hovland number 1, and at the 175 to 200, no surprise to see him right up there as well. He's had a pretty good year. So if he puts the ball somewhere in the fairway, I'm not going to say he could win back-to-back weeks, but certainly an interesting play. All right, moving on, the recent form sheet. If you guys keep up with the content on awesemo.com/PGA, you'll see this sheet where I break it down and give my tidbits and information on it that I have seen when I look at it. Of course, I've also, if you're looking for more, I've included the cut projection percentages from Awesemo into that article, so go ahead and check it out. Here's the sheet, though. I also give this sheet away for free for anybody, not just Awesemo Plus members. You can go ahead and find the Google Sheet link in the article. Same with the course history sheet. I like to put this information out there for as much as people as I can, and gives you a good indication of where the players are, how they've performed, how many missed cuts, all the above. You'll be able to see that in these 2 sheets. All right, the last 2 things that we've got here is the DraftKings points model and database. So this one is very similar to what you see on the front page. However, scroll all the way to the right and you can see all of the points scored from the players up to, it looks like, the PGA Championship from last year. I just haven't moved my formula over to look for it. As you can see here, it ends at 62 and I got to go over to 64 for the next letter. So you get at least, I'm going to say, let's see, I got like probably 35 tournaments there, 30. So right on the mark at 30. I'll add in a couple more, but it's plenty of starts. You'll see all of the points scored over the last 29 events for all of the players in this field. All right, the last thing, actually 2 more things. Second to last one is my projected ownership. I'm okay. I'm not going to go out and say that I'm one of the best, but I will say that my buddies and bosses here at Awesemo are some of the best. So what I do is I put this out as early as I get my model out so that you can get an indication of where we expect to see people going. And then, of course, we want to go out and see. What I'll do is I'll go and average it with Awesemo's once they put theirs out on Wednesday mornings or Tuesday nights normally. And I'll average it in. And normally we've been pretty good this year. Of course, also, I'm going to put in their average of all of their events. And the nice thing is, scroll over a little bit and you'll be able to see all of the ownerships back to the Valero last year. So it looks like I've updated my formula here. So you're going to get like 37 events of ownership. So a pretty good indication. I've got the average there. So that's mostly what I go off of. As you can see, they're all pretty close to their average. Maybe a couple of guys over, a couple of guys under, of course, based on recent form and price. Okay, awesome ownership. If you want to see it, it'll be right here. I haven't updated it for this week yet. Hasn't quite come out. And then the last one is the buy price. So I like to go out and look at this. I like to go out and see where we stand, where each of our individual sections are, and what players may be rating good in them. So we can see Tom Hoagie, Matt Jones, Tyler McCumber rating out well for this price section. We go into the 7K. We can do the same here. We can sort by the model rank. We'll see Kevin Streelman, Lee Westwood, Kurt Kitayama up there, Xinjun Zhang as well. And then this week, what I did, a 9 to 8K, I did actually 9.5 and below, because there was only 4 guys above 10K on DraftKings this week. So I have hopefully given you everything. And then lastly, if you really want all the strokes gained information, you want to do with what you please with it, here it is. This is it for all the way back to the Desert Classic of last year. This is my master file, I'll say, and you've got all of it. Approach, putting, and around the green. Of course, the other ones like ball striking, short game, and tee to green all come out of this. So if you want to do your own stuff, there it is right there for you. All you got to do, become an Awesemo member and download this to Excel, and you've got it for yourself. So hopefully you guys have found just a little bit. Ooh. Sorry about that. I clicked my old little thing there. I apologize at the end. So if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, of course, or in our Slack chat. If you're an Awesemo member, that's a great place to get in contact with me. So until next time, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed one of my next model breakdowns. I'll leave you with the top 5 of my model, as we sorted here. Sorry, my computer's going just a little bit slow today. Tommy Fleetwood and Brooks Koepka are number 1 and 2. In the base rating model, Victor Hovland, coming off a win, is number 3. Louis Oosthuizen number 4, with Gary Woodland checking in at number 5. My projected ownership, we'll leave that, and then I'll say bye to everybody. It's going slowly here. Okay, there we go. Byung-Hyun An, number 1. Brian Harman, cheap guy, number 2. Tommy Fleetwood, 3. Gary Woodland, 4. And Joaquin Niemann rounding out the top 5 in ownership this week. So, again, thanks everybody for joining, and we will see you back on the other side. My 3-ball video will be coming out shortly. If you watch that one first, then make sure to join our live before lock show tonight at 8:30. Cheers, everybody.